Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Roses and Thorns. Today I have on the show with me a very good friend of mine. I think I like to call all my friends very good, but today, yes, it's actually a very good friend of mine. I like to call him AG Baby. Aghogho. AG Baby for short. AG Baby,
Hi, what's up?
welcome to the show. How
Thank
are
you.
you? How have you been?
I'm alright, I've been good. Chilling.
You've been chilling. I can't see. I've been seeing pictures, videos, so
Yeah.
I know you've been chilling.
You have to enjoy life.
Abby, talking about chilling, I want to discuss money today. I mean, I know that you are really into finance. Yeah? Are you?
Mm-hmm.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
So then let's talk money. I want to discuss how far I think people can go for money. Do you think for you, I mean, I go on IG every day and then I see new things of how somebody did this for money, somebody did this for money. What's your take on that?
When you say this and that, like, what do you mean by what exactly do you mean by this or that?
So there are so many things
Examples.
on IG. Say people are into fraud, people do ritual, people do just a whole lot of things. You know what I'm talking about. You do, yeah? So what do you think about people that go so far just because they want to get money? Do you think there's like a reasonable explanation to it? Do you think?
I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know how to answer that question because for my personal notes though, I'll use my own background, and so because I'm a Christian, I'm going to say to you that I think that there should be limits to what you're willing to do at the end of the day, because I believe in life after death and eternity, if you want to use that word. So obviously there should be limits to what you can do. That's the first thing for me from my own religious or spiritual point of view.
I think it is for me too. Sometimes I feel like my religion stops me from wanting to do certain things, like go into fraud. But people that then go into it and are Christians, do you think they're not really Christians then? Or, I mean, people can really go far for money. Do you know that?
Yeah, so just talking about it, it's a good question. First of all, I don't think that it's in my place to actually determine who is a good Christian and who is not a good Christian.
True.
It's between everybody and their belief.
Yeah.
But there's also a second aspect for me, which is the aspect of the law.
Okay.
Rules, I believe that rules are set to create order. And like if you remove those rules, people, the world will be confused. And then so a lot of all these things that we say people go too far, they're actually breaking man-made laws and rules. So that's removing now the spiritual aspect, even to man. For example, when you say you're doing rituals, you go and maybe kill somebody and use the person's body parts.
So what if you don't kill somebody? Or let me ask that. What's your definition of going too far for money? When do you think somebody has gone too far for money? When they kill somebody?
No. So for me, I think that going too far is like I said, based on one, your religious beliefs, and two, the legal environment that you are in. I think that is what would define going too far. First of all, let's even remove religion. Anything that makes you break the law is going too far already.
But people break laws every day, regardless of even if it's for money or not.
Yeah, but do you know that there are even, I believe that lawyers will even tell you that there are different aspects of law. There's the civil, there's the criminal law. There are some things that even lawyers okay, even look at it. For example, a policeman has discretionary powers. If you maybe drive and then you maybe break the traffic, you beat traffic lights, the police guy can use his discretion to say, okay, I'm letting you go, I'm just giving you a warning. So obviously, even within the law, there are still limits placed. But the moment you now start stealing other people's ad-end funds, and then obviously people have worked hard for this money, they've saved it up or stashed it up somewhere, you take it away from them, their means of livelihood.
So that's going too far.
That's actually, yes.
So that means all the big people in Nigeria are going too far?
Well, again, I've tried to avoid answering that part because, well, I don't have any evidence to support what all these big people are doing. It's,
Okay.
for us, I think they're just more like allegations. And if truly, like they're doing these things,
Mm-hmm.
if these allegations are true,
Then they're going too far.
then they are going too far.
Hmm.
But I don't just think that. I always just say that there's a reason why there's
Everybody's
legal
doing
system.
something here.
If like, but and I want to believe that everybody's innocent until proven guilty. So for the guys that have been proven guilty of doing these things, yes, I feel and I think, in my opinion, that
They've gone too
they're
far.
going too far for it.
Okay. So,
But then again, there's a way the society has. If you look at Nigeria, this is Nigeria as an example. Society has kind of normalized some of these things.
Even aside from society, sometimes I feel like I'll go on IG and then see something and I know it's wrong, but I just like to put myself in that person's shoe and see that if I ever get to that point, will I do something like that? I think that's where the place of morals or values come into. Do you think there's some things you do that are informed, or your values inform some of the decisions that you make, so to say?
Yeah. I think that's basically the essence of life. Having a value system, and we all have value systems. You know, even if we don't actively think about it, I think that we all have value systems. I think that subconsciously people can see stuff. You know, and your values change over time too. You know, as you probably maybe become more exposed to certain things and become more enlightened. But there are certain things that I said to myself maybe 10 years ago that I'll never be considered doing these things.
But yeah,
and I'm doing it.
Do you want to share? Like what?
So one very basic one that is very easy for me to say is like, from a fashion sense.
Okay.
I remember when I was in uni and people just we used to wear boot cuts, maybe like secondary school, and then the pencil style came in. You know, I remember I used to add the consumer my style, like I can never wear pencil jeans, I can never wear, but that's all I wear now. So even though that might be vague, but it's an example of how sometimes things change over time based on what you're exposed to, based on situations. But however, looking at the big picture, yeah, your values will inform the decisions that you take subconsciously. Removing it from the sense from the moral aspect now.
Okay.
Let's just go to normal lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you don't like to enter, bus or public transport.
I don't actually. I don't.
And you had to be somewhere that, say, it wasn't a do or die thing. Maybe it wasn't a job. It's not a job interview. Maybe you just wanted to visit a friend, and you've waited for your cab. Maybe the first guy has cancelled, second guy has cancelled.
The way they cancel.
You most likely tell your friend that I don't think I can make it again today, because it's not in you to go into go and enter bus. You don't like the stress of maybe standing in the cold or standing in the sun waiting for the bus. So that's just the same way it is with your day-to-day life. So your values and your values will inform your morals. Your morals will inform the decisions that you take.
So what do you think about faking it till you make it? I mean, some people, I feel like some people spend more money faking it just to show off or to portray some things, especially on IG. I feel like that IG should be banned.
I know, right? Without before people come for me like Desmond Elliot, but I mean, we should be aware of the things that we expose ourselves to on social media, because sometimes there's unnecessary pressure. The pressure is getting worse and worse in that social media space.
But sometimes, why can't you just fake it? I mean, like, pretend, not like.
But I believe in faking it till you make it.
Chevy?
I actually believe in faking it till you make it.
Explain.
Because my brother calls it energy. You attract energy
the energy
from the way you live your life.
Professing things that are not as though they were.
Exactly. I'm saying the same thing. You're coming from an angle of faith. I think that I believe in it, to be honest with you. And I'll give you a practical example. I was speaking with one of my friends, and he moved to Abuja and he was just talking about pressure in Abuja, and Abuja is crazy and all those things. And that how if you don't have, you have to pretend like you have money for you to make money.
I've lived in Abuja. I think I can relate to
You know
that.
that maybe you go to someone's, you have this very big. He told me actually that he had an idea, right? And then after pitching it, they liked the idea and everything. But when I think maybe the MD or whoever it was that was his link followed him out, just made a statement about his car, and then they didn't give him the stuff. And he thinks that's probably maybe because they feel like, and I've heard stories like that to say, look at the car that this guy is driving. How can we give him our money?
Maybe they think you misuse it.
Exactly. How can they trust him so in that situation, I don't mind people that go and, I don't know, rent. You go and borrow a car. You rent
lying. I mean, you don't have this money. You are still now spending the little that you have to impress.
It is lying. It is lying, though. But I mean, you know that the way the society is set up, I think society is already twisted, because there are certain places you can't even go to
because you don't have.
Because you're not looking a certain way. There are times maybe you want to go and eat in a certain restaurant, they will size you up, and I've experienced these things before. I've experienced trying to go into a place, they don't allow me park inside. Okay. My friend comes in a different car, they open the gates for him to go in. It's just the way society is, it's just the way it is. And
there's some people that don't care.
Yeah, a lot of people don't care, but what is the proportion of people that
actually, I think the people that care are more than those that don't care.
I think so too. That's just the way, and I think that's just the way in our own upbringing as well. Or we don't even know that we do these things sometimes. But
you mean you don't, like, you unconsciously just fake it?
No, so I'm referring to sizing people up. You don't know that you're sizing someone up, but you're sizing the person up. Tell me that you've never sized somebody up before. Tell me
by size up.
So tell me that a guy comes to talk to you, or 2 guys or 3 guys come to talk to you. You not subconsciously said to yourself, or try to decide based on physical things that you're seeing.
Explain physical things.
Maybe the kind of shoe the guy is wearing, the kind of what he uses, the perfume he has on, the kind of car he drives.
Well, can you blame me?
So you're part of the proportion of people that will make the guy now go and borrow his guy's, go and borrow his guy's perf because he wants to come and talk to you.
No.
and he's working hard. So very soon to be able to afford it. I mean.
But then.
So one last thing that I said, I asked somebody, right? I'm still part of all this faking it to make it thing. This is a very tricky area. But I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was talking about age and how she can't date someone that is younger than her. And I said to him, what if he doesn't tell you that he's younger than you at first? Would you change your mind when you now finally like the guy? And
what she said?
She said she won't unlove you. She'll probably be okay with the age difference.
I don't think I can be okay.
You don't think you can be okay?
So personally, I just cannot date somebody younger than me. But that's personal. And then if I find out eventually that, I think that's sort of even like faking it to you. I don't know.
I mean, so for some plenty guys, sometimes they do these things now when you retold information selectively. It's not like you lie, but you just retold information selectively.
That's still a lie.
So it's still part of faking it till you make it. I mean, that's just the way it is sometimes. It's just how it is. I just think it's how it is, to be honest with you.
But how can somebody... I mean, I don't think I want to discuss love, but briefly, how can somebody lie to me about something like that, and then just because she wants to fake it till you make it, and then eventually I find out? I would just naturally think that this person has been lying to me about everything. Wouldn't you think that if the case was reversed?
Yeah, absolutely. But thank God you've even brought this one up now, so it can maybe help me buttress the point. That's why I said you told information selectively. Faking it, right, doesn't necessarily mean that you are lying. Maybe to yourself, you are lying to yourself.
Okay, but to others,
withholding. Yeah, withholding information. So if I borrow my friend's car because I want to go and pitch for a contract, I don't need to go and start shouting that this is my car, this is my car. I don't say anything about who owns the car, But they just assume that I'm
That
going
is
to
your
have the car.
car.
And he helps me, right? And he gives me the contract or the job, and then I can get the money to buy the car that I want to buy. So it's withholding information selectively. I wouldn't say that you lied, maybe just to yourself. Even to yourself, it's not even really a lie because you know why you're doing it. You know the truth.
So regardless, you think that if you're doing it for a good cause, then carry on, by all means.
And so if you're doing it for a good cause and you're not hurting anybody by doing it, then I don't see anything wrong in what you're doing. You're not hurting anybody's feelings, you're not hurting anybody physically. I really don't see anything wrong in it.
So when people go too far for money, going back to how we started, when people go too far for money, if they are not hurt, can people go too far without hurting somebody? I don't know. But
I think so. When like I said initially, like there's the boundary of legality. And for you to have committed a crime or something, then there must have been an injured party, right?
okay, what if it's not a crime? I mean, what things do you think, aside from fraud, Yahoo, and ritual, or maybe the politicians stealing, what other way do you think people get money that is taking it too far?
I don't think that anything that is. That's why I said that. That's why I said that it's something that is also very personal. If between you and your God, you don't think that I mean, you're not, like I said, you're not breaking the law, you're not hurting anybody, it's solely just between you and your God.
What if your conscience is not?
If your conscience is dead to it.
I'm not just carry on.
Well, so that as long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't.
If you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah, I think that I wouldn't stop you from doing it. I don't think it's in my place. The best I can probably do is if I feel like your actions are not really aligned with what I would do normally.
Okay.
I'll probably just, depending on how close we are,
Okay.
chip it in or talk to you about it. But at the end of the day, it's your life to live, and if we're adults and we take those decisions ourselves. But as long as, even if you're my friend, and when you're doing, I'm not going to be with you one day and then I'm going to get arrested, or you're going to embarrass me, or something. Then it's your life, to be honest. At the end of the day, bringing it back to how I started that by saying that from my own religious and spiritual point of view, there are certain places where you draw the line to as well. But for me too, again,
your spirituality stops you sometimes.
For me, yeah, but my own spirituality too also tells me that it's a personal race.
True.
So if it stops me and it doesn't stop you, that's fine. The best I can do is to try and make you feel like, are you really comfortable doing what you're doing? You know.
So, based on this spirituality thing that you just said, so for you then, aside from, so you know how there's some people that are not spiritual, but they're just moral. They just have morals. Do you think it would be the same for them too? Where, as Christians sometimes, there's some things that you just say, if not before God, I don't do this thing, I run out. But there are some people that, I mean, they are not really religious, but they will still do some things. So what do you think is informing their decision then? Is it their morals or, because they're in this same society too, so.
Yeah, I think for people like that, I think for all of us really, it's all about morals, right? And I always say that one of the advantages of okay, let me try not to go too deep into this thing, but I think it's morals really, and that you're a Christian doesn't mean you're a good person.
Exactly.
You know.
Sound it.
At the end of the day, it is what you practice and how you do how you live your life that determines if you're a good person or not. The only difference is maybe one person doesn't believe in Jesus or believe in God or believes in something else, and then one person believes in Jesus or believes in God. But that doesn't really necessarily mean that you're a better human being
than the person that believes.
Yes, I think it's all about morals. At the end of the day, it's all about morals, and that seems to be like what is really lacking these days. I think that's society has normalized a lot of
some things, and that's so about this society thing. Do you think it's just I'm from Nigeria. I've gotten so used to the Nigerian culture or way of life, the way the society is in Nigeria? Do you think it's the same everywhere else? Like there's some things that the society just normalizes and makes you feel like it's normal. In fact, I do think that there's some things that society even normalizes that if you're not doing it, you begin to look like the odd one out, like the bad person. Why? Why is it like that?
I think that that's just how life is sometimes. There's like, yeah, I get you. That sometimes if you don't participate in certain things,
You just feel like so
you
different.
look like you are different. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I think I'm guilty of doing that to people when I feel like you don't do this. I'm like you don't do this. Because like I said, we've normalized a lot of things. But I think that that's where your own personal conviction. And at the root cause of your moral should be your personal conviction. You should have a conviction as to why. I always ask, if you tell me you don't do stuff, I ask why.
Why you don't do it?
Why don't you do it?
Okay.
Because is it because you were told not to do it, or you have your own conviction? It's difficult to beat conviction. If you have that conviction as to why you're not doing it, then you won't be moved, or you won't be scared.
Even when every other person is not.
Even when every other person. And bringing it to Nigeria. Nigeria is a very complex environment, very complex society. To be honest with you, I don't know where to start from. I don't know where to end.
Start from the beginning.
I really don't know where to start from. I don't know where to end. But in terms of morality, I think that we're losing it.
People have lost it.
Oh yes, but
no,
we're losing it. We're losing it. There's still redemption, but I just feel like I feel like there's now this drive towards money to the point where I feel like, okay, because of the way, if you look at it from even the political setup and the economic setup to the way Nigeria is set up, it is an environment that is heavily dependent on cash.
Yes. Sometimes you don't even fault somebody for doing what they do.
Sometimes, these things are difficult. I always say stuff like, oh, the reason why you stole is not what makes you a thief, but it's the fact that you stole. But sometimes you hear some stories as to why someone stole, and you just feel so sad, and it then becomes very difficult, because if you're in this person's shoes, would you do things differently?
That's why I keep saying that sometimes when I hear some things, I want to, what if I'm there? Would I? And I'm never among those people that will say I will never do this, because I don't know if I would, even if I have.
No, but there are some things that you know now. So if if someone tells you that, oh, you can maybe kill somebody for money, would you say, oh, I don't know, until I'm there I'll decide whether I'll do it? I mean, you already know that, oh, I can never kill this person, I can never do that kind of thing. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I get you. See, on this one issue, let me ask you this question. So I was on Twitter Space one day, and then somebody said that your wife would can you allow your wife go sleep with a big person? Say Dangote now. At least we know Dangote is it the richest in Africa or in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think it's the richest black man.
Okay, so and then he just comes and say, oh, I just want to sleep with your wife. I don't want to use girlfriend or fiancé, because I mean it's so easy to discard them when you don't have any ties, so to say. But then your wife, then he offers you, say, 1 billion, and you need money. Would you consider that?
There are some things I can always answer easily without everything inside.
So you wouldn't?
No.
Regardless.
Never.
Even if the money is.
In addition to this thing called morals, there's something called pride. And I think I have it plenty. I don't know how I look at myself again. I just don't know how I look at myself and feel very comfortable.
But it's just
like the kind of person I am, right? Sometimes I'd rather die
than do something,
ask for help, or I don't know. I don't know. I just rather die than allow my wife to do that kind of thing.
So you never, like, even if you're in a, imagine that you're in a very.
There has to be a better way to get to money.
Let me tell you, some people on that day, I knew that some men have, I don't know what they have for, or they don't have sense, because I was surprised, I was shocked at the way some people were saying, oh, they don't mind, they don't do this, is it not just for one night? I mean, when the money comes, you share it. Somebody will say, what if she does it and you don't even know about it? and then she just comes up with the money.
No, so that's a different thing. What you don't know is different now. So if my wife is cheating, for example, I don't know. It's different. I genuinely do not know about it.
So even if you're in a tight corner, you would just do something else. You would never allow her to
No, I won't do. About this one, I'm extremely sure of it. I will never. I'll never. There's like I said, there's this thing called pride. Some people have put money to the point where they lose their sense of dignity. And I try my best to live my life in such a way that I don't want anybody to ever say that if not for this guy, me, this guy won't have done this or that. I'm not saying that people cannot help you in life, but like whenever a third party hears the story of help, let them see some form of God's grace and some form of my efforts. Not like somebody can singularly say that I made him, and if I want to destroy him, I can destroy him, kind of thing. So that's it too for me.
So for you, sometimes not even only the moral, is the pride. Like, I can never be found doing this. God forbid.
Yes. Nah.
Even if you are in the tightest corner, you don't think you will get to a corner. But you know that there's sometimes
I don't pray to get to a corner. That prayer that David prayed, that he said that don't let me be too poor, that I'll start sinning against you, and don't let me be too rich so that I'll forget you. It's a very important prayer, because sometimes you just pray you don't get to that point where you now begin to start thinking about losing yourself.
This money thing, I feel like there's a spirit behind money. Because that's why when some people are too rich, you feel like, oh, this is not the person I used to know. Like, they're just different from how you used to know them when they didn't have money. And when people are, there's this adage, I don't know if it's adage or I don't know, it's saying that you don't truly know somebody's character unless money is involved. So I do believe that. Not like that. Yeah, I do believe that there's a spirit behind money. It makes people do irrational things. So sometimes, yes, I know that some people go too far, like killing. I don't think I would. I think killing is one thing I would never do if I was asked this question. I would never do it. But I still feel like there's some things that, unless I'm in that position, I cannot answer.
No, definitely.
Or not.
There are a lot of things that until you're in that situation, you really don't know.
Like if I become a senator now in Nigeria now, and they now say, will you steal money? I feel like every politician I feel like they used to steal money. I feel like it's default. I don't even think they can help. Do you think they can help it?
I think they can.
Hey.
But that's the story.
But it's money now.
Yes. But then there's also the place of greed.
Well, true.
A lot of our leaders are greedy. And you see a lot of all these things that we talk about, morals, money, boundaries, right? People relax their morals and they push boundaries because they are greedy. I think because you see people that are rich still doing funny things to become richer.
More richer.
And I think that is a lot of it is greed. I think a lot of it will be ascribed to greed. That's just the truth. But
what's the person like a poor person that doesn't have? That's not greed. That's like helping yourself out of the situation that you're in.
It's a tricky situation too, because then, yes, you're poor, but do you have a roof over your head? Can you eat like normally? You're above poverty line. Then you don't necessarily need to do some things to make extra money.
I don't think anybody will agree with that.
But yeah, definitely not everybody's gonna agree with that now, and that's fine. But
I don't think I agree with it.
You don't think you agree with it? Why?
That if you have a roof over your head and then you can eat, that's okay.
Yeah. So if
I mean, there's so many things that you would like to buy.
Why?
Because you just want to have it.
Why?
Why do you want to have them?
Yes.
Why do you want to have a good phone? Why do you want?
No, you have I have a phone that is working. Maybe I've used this phone for 5 years, and the point of having a phone is I can browse, call, receive text messages, maybe take pictures. My camera is still working very well. Why then do I need to get a new phone?
Because people are, I don't know. Because everybody's buying a new phone. Why not?
Exactly.
Buy a new phone too?
Exactly. So that's the thing about when I say greed. Really.
You think that's greed? Wanting to aspiring. Is that not faking it till you make it? Aspiring to be better.
Why? What is the motivation behind why?
To be better. Better is that's the
You know, if someone says something like, "Oh, I aspire to be rich because I grew up in poverty," even though sometimes the person is just giving you bobo, but I grew up in poverty and I know what it feels like to not be sure of where your next meal is coming from, and so I want to take a lot of. But I have a goal to take 1 million children out of poverty. It looks like there's a justification.
Like people that used to campaign for votes for.
Yeah, but it just feels like there's a justification behind what it is that you're doing. But if you're going to be, most of the people that are fraudulent and most of the people that push these boundaries that we're talking about, they are also very extravagant in their lifestyle. So it tells you that the motivation behind it from the beginning was to show off.
Not to fund their lifestyle.
Yeah, really. And then you look at businessmen that, in the eyes of the world, got legitimate funds. They are not as extravagant as some of these other people. Some of these G-boys in quotes now don't have as much money.
It's true, it's G-boy this call.
But their lifestyle is different. You know, they want to oppress. They are doing it to oppress people.
I agree with you.
To choke people.
My father now, before he spend some kind of money, he will think deep.
Exactly. So that's always that's why I think it's the driver behind the motivation, right? I think is what drives this topic of boundaries, morals, and money. It's the motivation behind what you're doing. When you sometimes, and we've all joked about it before, because I remember being in uni now, we used to just have all these very aimless conversations, and someone would just come and say, Aghogho, if you get $100 million
what will you do?
What will you do with $100 million? I know the first is, first of all, buy 2 cars. Or first of all, build 1 house in this place. You know, stuff like that. I mean, we've all had this kind of conversation.
Yeah, but if you do have $1 million today, what would you do today? I mean, with all the experience that you have now, with this current stage and position that you're in right now, what would you do if you get that kind of money?
If I get $1 million today, I'll go on vacation for 1 month. Easy.
You see?
I'm not even thinking twice about it. But
1 month, a whole month.
Yes.
Why? You want to rest from all the stress that you have done?
I want to rest and empower myself to come back and make more of the millions of dollars.
So you spend, and then remember what will happen, you keep it in the bank. You just want it to be breathing there.
I have investment ideas. If I get the money, I'll remove this one for my vacation, then I'll invest the rest. Yeah. But I'm going to go on that vacation, sir.
Where do you want to go?
Maybe like 4 or 5 countries. So 1 week here, 2 days there, 3 days there. I just go and enjoy and see the world.
Finish you?
Yeah, but I just want to see the world and see life from different people's perspectives. It's very important that we expose ourselves to different people's cultures and perspectives, and then it's easier to understand why some people do what they do.
If I get that money,
Let me guess, there's one shoe you'll be waiting for. And buy.
No. When you see that money, I think I first have like palpitation. My heart just beats. I just want to just be my account. Let me just be seeing it breathe. Let me just see their face. I'll now decide. Maybe investments.
So
maybe.
you won't go shopping. You
Shopping,
want to answer this question? So you will go shopping?
That's shopping. I've too suffered in this life. I don't mean suffer, but like
Now you can go and buy what you want.
I'm telling you.
Looking at the price and turning back.
Sometimes when people do this thing for money, if you now see like what they do, like you would now be. I didn't get where you're coming from that based on maybe it's the motivation behind it. But see, when you have money, life is sweet. Do you agree?
But do you know what's sweeter?
Do you know that life is
sweet? But do you know what's
when
sweeter?
you have money.
No, but do you know what is sweeter? Do you know what is sweeter? What is sweeter is having money and peace of mind.
What?
That's
peace of mind. Do you know somebody say, I would rather be in range and be crying than to be in mode and be enjoying?
That's not, some people they deceive themselves when they say those kind of things, sir. because you
Drive,
then get
cruise in car like
no,
this.
see, for example, I'll tell you something. Some ladies will say that they rather be crying in the rain
That's what I'm saying.
than being on bike.
And be
Then
happy.
then you see some women are in abusive relationships and they are very rich. And then they now start to say things like, "Oh, this money doesn't really matter. I don't have peace of mind again. I'm not happy. What's the point of having any kind of money and you're not happy?" So you see that there's some form of deception.
They beat them today. Give me diamond ring the next day. Beat you. Give you this. Beat you like this. Buy car for you. That's what I want.
Are they really happy or are they trying to force themselves to be happy?
I don't even know, but sometimes I mean when you see them drive by to you say such a money is good.
No, definitely money is good and the prayers that everybody.
You know who sang that
of
song?
this.
Love is sweet. It's Davido.
Davido.
If money enter, love is sweeter. You know
Definitely.
only love. Life, everything is sweet.
Definitely, life is very sweet.
It's so easy to just go into your account and just swap your card. Just swipe. Just be swiping. Because you have the money.
There's a documentary that I watched on what's it called, on Netflix, and it's about some gangs in Manchester.
This same Manchester.
Yeah. And one of them very rich. He was very rich, but the guy said that he got to a point where he didn't have peace of mind again. You know, if the cutlery drops in his house, he's thinking maybe someone has come to kill him. He lost two of his brothers to this gang thing. He had the money, you know, but he turned himself in and went to the police because he just said he wanted that peace of mind. He didn't want to be involved in all of that again, to be honest. He just wanted to leave.
So you prefer peace of mind over money?
Definitely.
I don't know what I prefer. Story for another day. I really don't know if I prefer peace. I have peace, but I will still have that money too. Money,
and the prayer is to get both of them, Sha.
B.
I mean, so.
Why can't they have both of them? Have peace of mind one side.
And if you work hard, you can get it. But then, back to these same boundaries, morals too. Are you trying to cut corners? You're trying to make the money faster than you need to. So instead of working hard for the next 2 years, 3 years, having a plan, you just want to make the money quickly and spend it. So these are all those factors to involved. So yeah, you get the money if you work hard and give yourself the time. The money will come. In my opinion.
Baby has spoken. Baby said, Baby 2023, if you work hard, the money will come. Do you agree with him? I don't know if I do. I mean, I think sometimes you can still work hard and still not get the money. But my guest today has said, if you work hard, you get the money. Baby, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks, it was
amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for finally honoring. I do think that you have more. You have more. Because you have been going. That's what I'm saying. I have to tell you, you have been going on vacation. It's not maybe to honor my invitation. Let me not just expose where he has gone. So I do not come and coffee in the middle of the night. But it is baby. If you see him, Billy, he has money. Please subscribe, comment, like, share. Just enjoy this conversation basically, and I'll see you next time. Bye.